Yo! Video games.
What up, dudes? Matt here from YoVideogames. Recently, some interesting news started popping up with some of the games I'm most excited for this year, and I thought it would be fun to speculate and share with you guys. First off, Nintendo recently filed trademarks around the world for the name Hyrule, specifically for video games and not the Netflix series. This is curious as Hyrule Warriors was released months ago, and its title in Japan is Zelda Musou. The immediate thought would be that it's the title for the next Legend of Zelda game coming out for the Wii U this November. Why would it only be the single word Hyrule? Well, ironically, this wouldn't be the first time a massive open-world action RPG would use the name of the game's location as the subtitle. It could be that those Skyrim rumors and comparisons could be even closer than we thought. Perhaps the title of the new game is The Legend of Zelda Hyrule. After the initial shock of the idea wears off, it kinda makes sense. The scale of the world has been at the forefront of every video and conversation about the title that Nintendo has released. It's not so different from how an item or character that is the focus of the game makes it into the title. Another thing to remember is that 2 years ago, Aonuma said that the two biggest changes to the Zelda formula he wanted to change were the linear order of the dungeons and playing the game alone. We can already see from the footage and A Link Between Worlds the return to a more open-ended structure, but he has remained quiet on the changes to solo play. Could it be that this new title might have some form of online play? Consider when he teased in an interview that whether the character on screen was really Link. Sure, he immediately called it a joke in the following days when people speculated that Link might be a girl this time, but what if the real tease was because everyone will have a Link in the new game world? We still have not seen the classic green tunic, even with Link having a sword, a bow, a horse, binoculars, and a parasail already in his arsenal. That is certainly a lot of stuff to have acquired already in a Zelda title, even compared to titles such as Twilight Princess with a very long intro. Perhaps if the game were called The Legend of Zelda Hyrule, it could point to a title where players can meet up together from around the world and help solve dungeons in an order of their choosing. Maybe even some parts of the game would require multiple people to complete some puzzles, though I personally would hope not. I could be totally off base with all of this baseless assumptions, but it sure is interesting food for thought until we get a real good look at the title in June at E3. And really, if it were just an extension of the bottle messages, that would seem like an awfully weird thing to bring up in comparison to the open world structure as a major gameplay design feature. The Miiverse is pretty much available in every game on the system, it would hardly be noteworthy. Let's see how close or far off I am in a couple of months. Speaking of online gameplay, it was confirmed from the people who have pre-installed Xenoblade X in Japan that the title features 4-player online quests and 32-player indirect online in the form of messaging and trading items. It will also have a deep single-player only story mode. So what does all this mean exactly? Well, 4-player quest seems pretty self-explanatory and certainly fits with the previous footage as well as the director's desire to let players cross over. The 32-player indirect online seems a bit stranger. However, to me, it sounds a whole lot like a lobby from the Phantasy Star Online days. In Phantasy Star Online, you would first pick a ship and then one of 16 lobbies to log onto. The lobbies were basically a glorified chat room with dozens of players hanging out. This is where you could talk and exchange info with random people. At the center was a desk where you could make a room. A room was limited to 4 players including yourself and could be password protected to enter. Once in the room, you had access to the various stores and bank in the game, and this is where you could actually embark on the game world with you and up to 3 other friends. Rooms basically loaded your current save file of progress through the game world, and you couldn't go to various areas until you had beaten the boss of the previous area. The 32-player indirect online certainly seems like a big lobby to me. Perhaps this time letting you access the stores and bank before setting up a room, like Phantasy Star Online 2. By the way, fuck you Sega for still not releasing it out in the West. The 4-player quest seems like the rooms to me, possibly limiting where you can go on Mira until you have reached a certain level. Either way, the fact that 4-player online playing and trading is in the game as well as a big single-player adventure just makes me all the more excited. This could finally be the rebirth of PSO that I have so longed for so goddamn long. Lastly, we got a word of a new game studio opening up called Playtonic Games. They are currently made up of 6 veteran ex-Rare developers and are looking to hire more. Their first title is called Project Ukulele, and their goal is to bring a spiritual successor to Banjo Kazooie out. Sign me the fuck up! It would seem that Grant Kirkhope is possibly doing the music and they are looking at Nintendo as a possible console first. It currently is being made for Steam Early Access, so basically the same place as Shovel Knight was a couple years ago. This really excites me, as the era of 3D platforming has all but disappeared from the world, and it's a damn shame. Banjo Kazooie is one of my all-time favorite games and shows why good gameplay always trumps story. There isn't much to go on, but some art on their website sure looks like a wolf or panther character with a bird companion, though some speculation puts it as a lizard and bird pair that are native to Hawaii, which would make sense if the codename Project Ukulele. I really hope to see more of it in the future from these guys, and I would fund the shit out of this on Kickstarter if it came to that. Well, let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you later on the channel. Later, dudes!